summary of the coaching technologies that LHH offers its clients around the world. Frequently, we will begin with assessment coaching, where we're asked to come into an organization to support a 360 process, an assessment process. So someone will do a process like the LEA 360 or benchmarks, and we'll meet and help the individual debrief and then create an action plan out of the feedback that they received in that, and then implement that plan going forward. We do targeted coaching, where we will come in with or without assessments and work with an individual around a specific topic or objective. Sometimes we see people in organizations that who are making their way up, for example, up the leadership pipeline, and they're struggling with one of the transitions. We often see leaders who've been very successful in the first layer of leadership in leading others, individual contributors, who are promoted up the leadership pipeline. They're now leading leaders, and the stuff they used to do as leaders isn't working for them anymore when they're leading leaders. They need a new approach. Sometimes they're struggling, sometimes they're failing in that transition, and we will come in and we'll work with that individual and help them get over that top and around the corner and successfully on top of the new role. Sometimes we will be brought in to do top performance and early impact assimilation coaching. High potential people in organizations who are being cultivated for promotion and development, for moving into new divisions, to do new roles in the organization, we will come in and help them prepare for that. New hires. What percentage of new hires fail that come into an organization? You'll know these statistics better than I. Somebody give me a number. What percentage of new hires into senior executive positions fail? 30%? 30%. And when you consider the enormous cost to bring somebody in to fill a position, not just in terms of dollars and cents to recruit and train and get started, but also in terms of lost productivity and dislocation because you have to do it again and you haven't had the leadership in the position for a while, it's really, really important to reduce that rate of failure for new executives. So often we'll work with a new executive as soon as they step into a job, and we will help them transition into the organization. So it accelerates their learning and their adjustment. It helps them receive and manage and process the feedback that they're getting as their coach so that they can successfully integrate and become a productive performer faster inside the organization. Another offering is team coaching. Teams are the essence of organizational productivity, isn't it? We work in teams now, and when teams work well, they're synergistic, they're creative, they're positive, they're energizing, and they're productive and they're successful. And when teams aren't working, they're hell on wheels, aren't they? It's just the worst thing in the world. And we've all been part of a dysfunctional team. So we will come in and work, sometimes as an external coach, with a team. We have an assessment process that we take the team through to provide feedback on how they're functioning in terms of relationships, processes, decision-making, productivity, and so on. We feed back that information to them, and we coach them as a group in the same way we would coach an individual. And we help them build the relationships they need, build the systems and structures they need, overcome the conflict that almost inevitably has them stalled. And then they're able to move on and become effective teams. Coaching practices for leaders. This, of course, is providing leaders with the coaching competency skills. One of my favorite analogies of leadership that works. There was an article that went in Harvard Business Review about 7 or 8 years now called Leadership That Gets Results. And the analogy they used for leadership was a golf bag full of golf clubs. How many of you out there are golfers? Bill's a golfer. Bill's got a long history in golf. The idea was that to be a good leader, you have to know what club to get out of your bag at the right time in the right situation to do the right thing. Sometimes, as a good leader, you got to get that driver out of the bag because you got to send this ball down the fairwell, so you got to be a director. Sometimes that's one of the skills you need to be an effective leader. Sometimes you need to get the putter out of the bag because you just got to go short little pitch and that might be when the skill that's required of you is to be collaborative. Well, we say one of the most important clubs in the bag is the coaching club. Because sometimes, as a leader, your role is to develop your people. You need to be there to help them process, to give them feedback, to help them think things through, to create things for themselves. If you can't coach your people in the developmental mode, you're going to have a really tough time developing. And that is so fundamental, isn't it, to our success as leaders? If we're leading leaders, we need to be able to help them level up in how they perform in their work. Now we come, finally, to coach the coach, internal certification for coaches. Because all of these processes that I've been speaking of earlier now, we're seeing internal coaches offering these services. So we could see organizations where coaching culture is well developed. We see them doing assessments and coaching people through the debriefing and building an action plan out of that 360. We see internal coaches doing targeted coaching to help people over the top who are struggling, or to get high performers ready for the next role, or to save people who are derailing and at risk of failing in an organization. There are internal coaches now who are available online and able to step in and help those people in those moments.